Hi everyone, welcome to my free Facebook Live virtual card class for orders placed with me in the month of June. I am so happy you are here with me today. It is Monday, July 14th, 2025, and I'm glad to be here with you. My name is Maureen Rolfes, also known as the Crazy Stamping Lady. Excuse me. I have been an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for over 28 years, and I love what I do. If you're hopping on, be sure to let me know that you're here. I love to see when people are watching. I'm trying to see if I'm up and running right now because there's always a little delay, as you guys know. But it looks like I am there. Yay, Shar is here. Good. So I am up and running. That is awesome. I am coming to you from a partly cloudy, hot and humid Murfreesboro, Tennessee, in the middle of the United States. This class is a special thank you for my customers who ordered, but everyone is welcome to join today's class and see the cute little projects that we make. If you ordered from me in the month of June and your order was over $50, you should have received a free kit in the mail. And if not, and you think you should have, always let me know because I can make mistakes. This video will remain here in the video media section of my Facebook page for 30 days, and 30 days only due to Facebook rules. I will try to upload it to YouTube. I try to do that within the 30 days so it's still available. But just as a heads up, if you want to get any knowledge from it or if you want to get screenshots of anything, do it within those 30 days just to be safe. Also, please feel free to share this video. You can share it to anyone you want. It is a public video and I appreciate it when you do that. It gets me exposure I wouldn't otherwise have. So thank you if you do that for me. Okay, I'm going to turn you around. You'll see my sunshine. Right now it is pretty sunny. Earlier it was totally cloudy. So it's one of those days when who knows what we're going to get. Down to my table, this is me, Maureen Rolfes, the Crazy Stamping Lady. My email is crazystampinglady@gmail.com. My Facebook is facebook.com/Crazy Stamping Lady. My YouTube is under my name, Maureen Rolfes, and you can shop with me at stampingwithmaureen.stampinup.net. Stampin' Up! Has a rewards program going on. For every $20 or more that you order online, you automatically receive 10% back in rewards on a future purchase. And believe me, I love this. I can't believe how fast those rewards add up. They're good for a year, so you can save them up if you want to get yourself something special like the glass mat or a cut and emboss machine, or you can use them on your very next order. You just have to allow about 15 minutes for the system to get everything processed and through, and you could order right away again. You must have an online account at stampingwithmaureen.stampinup.net, and you do have to opt in to the rewards. So just as a heads up. Okay, Crazy Stamping Lady free monthly virtual card class. That is what I am doing right now for orders that were placed in June. The orders that are placed in July, you can earn those same free card kits just like we're doing today, only they're new projects, but very similar in quality, style, and appeal to what I'm doing today. All orders, no matter how small, if they don't qualify for a kit, will get a thank you note from me, and all orders are entered into my monthly order prize drawing. The August class for kits that you earn in July will get mailed by early August, but the class will not be until Monday, August 18th, which is a little later than usual. Today's class is about as late as I go in the month usually, but I will be out of state for a little while in August, so August 18th will be that online class. And it's my birthday month, so I am giving away adhesives. I'm stuck on you, so I'm giving you glue. If you order this month, I will keep track of all of your orders in July. And every time you hit $100 in purchases, cumulative. So if you place 3 $75 orders, that would take you to what? What is it? I shouldn't say that without knowing, right? $225. So you would get 2 free adhesives because now you have 2 $100 orders. Every time you reach that level, I will keep track, and at the end of the month, I will either message you or email you and let you have your choice of which adhesives you like. And those will be sent out to you in August, and they will come to you in a fun, cute little zippered bag from me with a sweet thank you note, just as a thank you for celebrating my birthday month with me. So thanks. Annual catalog, just always like to get it in front of you so you can see. But I will tell you, I am relying on our catalogs less and less as we get so much more online right now. So I'm not even pushing these. I did a vendor fair and I didn't even put them out online, guys, to see what we have. There is so much more than you will ever see in our catalog. But the catalog is a favorite of mine for ideas. The pages are filled with beautiful samples and layouts that you can copy onto your own designs. So I still like the catalogs, but I am much more pushing online. Okay, guys. Let's get started on our projects. So I'm going to pull in a few things here. Your first kit is going to be the one with the white card base and the blue layer, and then all of these little pieces are going to be in there. So I'm just going to set this here to the side. I will bring back in my recipes at the end with each card, and I will also post them in the comments. Inside of your kit, you have a bunch of little pieces, so make sure it all comes out when you open your envelope. And this paper and these little flowers come from a retired pack of paper called Pleased as Punch. Now this paper, I don't even remember what year it came out, but it was a favorite when it came out. And inside of here are all kinds of designs that can be punched with punches, which I loved then and I loved now. This was a brand new full pack and I've been playing with it. So you may see another card with another design from this in the future, maybe a couple of them. But this is where the paper we're using for this card came from. And it coordinated with the retired small bloom punch. So that is what I used to punch out all your little flowers, although you could fussy cut them, but they would be a little difficult, I will be totally honest. So in your kit, you are going to have 4 stripes of paper, all different colors, or probably all different colors. Everyone's are going to be different. So on this one, I had yellow, pool party, an orange, and a darker blue. This one, I have a pool party, a yellow, a pink, and an orange. They're just an assortment. And you're also going to have 4 different flowers. So add order the way you want them to go. So you're going to start out using your piece of basic white. This is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And you're going to layer all of these different strips on there. So let me grab that. I just noticed my door is open and back. Bear with me a minute. I'm going to go close it just in case my husband comes in from working so it's not too loud. Hang on. Don't know how I forgot to do that, but it seems like I forget something every time, right guys? So I'm going to use Tombow glue for these strips. They're just pretty narrow. You could put seal on them if you wanted, but I'm going to use Tombow, and I am going to see how I want mine to lay out. And I think because I have a yellow and an orange, which are similar, I'm going to put them in this order. So they're kind of spread out from each other. And just putting some Tombow glue on the back of my strip. And then I'm going to place it onto my card front. Maybe about, let me see how long that is. Maybe about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom. Really all you need it to be is up from the bottom enough that you can stamp whatever your sentiment is here, okay? And then I'm going to use my pink layer, and again, you're doing whatever layers in whatever order you like. Let's place our glue on here again. I'm going to bring my little shot glass over for my glue so I don't have to reach across each time. We're going to place that about the same gap as down here. Just like that. And the Tombow does give it a little wiggle room so you can center it on there if it's a little short. Yeah. And then I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to flip this around only because I'm going to place these about the same distance. And then my middle block is probably going to be a little bit wider, and that is perfectly okay. So I'm going to come in here, make sure that last one was straight. I'm going to use the pool party on this one. And I'm going to place this one down here toward the bottom, about that same distance up as I did on the other side. And then my yellow layer. Okay, I'm going to tip that over and place that. And so by placing these pretty even here and here, it gives my middle section just a little bit more room to it. And this could actually go this way now or this way. It's my choice. I think I'm going to put it this way though and have the orange at the bottom. And then I'm going to figure out how I want my flowers to go. So to do that, I'm actually just going to lay them on here. I don't want them necessarily on a coordinating color, so I'm trying to just match up colors that aren't the same and see what I think. Actually, I kind of like that. I think that's the route I'm going to go. So there you go. And you can space them where you want them. But once again, remember, you need to have room for your sentiments. So I'm just going to push these off to the sides so I know what order I'm going to have them in. I'm going to come in with Pool Party ink and a happy birthday sentiment. This happy birthday that I'm using happens to come from the Spring Corners set right here. It's tiny, it's type of print, it's easy to read, and so I chose to use that one on here, and I'm going to ink it up, and I'm just going to stamp this a few times onto my card. So I'm going to stamp it once up here, trying to get them pretty straight, and once down here in the middle, in this bigger section, and then one more time down here way over to the right in this bottom section. Now you don't have to do that if you don't want, but I kind of placed them so when I put my flowers on, it just kind of fills in. And then I'm going to take my envelope, and on this envelope I'm going to do that repeating sentiment design that I've done many, many times when I have a smaller sentiment, and that's all I really have is not a stamped image, just a smaller sentiment. I just repeat it randomly at different stages across my card. If I'm using a dark color, sometimes I will stamp and then stamp and then stamp and get 3 generations of that color. Oh, that Y didn't come up very well, but that's okay. It's the envelope. I never worry too much about my envelope, just so my envelope has something cute on it when the recipient gets it. Okay, so let me show you how I did my flowers, guys. These are adorable little flowers, and when I add them to my card, I want them to have a little bit of depth. I want to keep these 2 here and these 2 here. So I'm going to use the back of one of my foam mats, and I'm just going to put my flowers on here, and I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool with the lid and push it down right in the middle of those flowers. So you want to be sure you're right on the foam mat, that there's no paper there, because that's going to inhibit your flower coming up like that beautifully. But this is going to give those flowers some depth when I add them to my card. I'm going to do the same thing with these other 2. These marks on my foam mat are temporary. They will go away, so I never worry. Whoa, that was the wrong way. I want to do this side. Right here and pull that up. Now, if you don't have a Take Your Pick tool, you can also use the bottom of a Sharpie. That works really, really well too. It's kind of rounded like that. It's very similar in size, works great. So if you don't have a Take Your Pick tool, grab a Sharpie if you have one of those in the house to do that, and that will also work. So there are our flowers, and now I'm going to grab some glue dots. Hopefully I have some glue dots. Oh, I'm almost out of this roll, so glad I have a few here to work with. We're done with our mat. I'm going to get that out of the way, and I'm going to pull my base and stuff back in here. So let's put this together before we add our flowers. We're just going to take our larger Pool Party piece of cardstock, And this cardstock is 4 inches by 5 1/4. I'm going to add some seal in the corners to the back of this. And then center this onto the front of my card. So this is a vertical card, which is always good to remember, especially if you're stamping something on the inside. I was talking to a friend who said, and like me, that we usually make vertical cards. It's just the way I always tend to go. But when I do a horizontal card, I have to be really careful that when I stamp the inside, I'm stamping it the right direction because of that. So be aware of that. This is going to come in here, and I'm going to center that right on to that pool party. And then we are going to take glue dots, and I am going to add them to the back of my flower, peeling up gently, and then placing that flower where I want it. Okay, so I want it right there. And then what I'm going to do after or your Sharpie, if you have it, and just push down in the center. What that does is it makes sure that that glue dot really adheres, because these petals are not adhering, and I want to be sure I get that really stuck on there. We're going to do the same thing with all 4 of these flowers. Push down, pick up that glue, come over and lay it. I'm going to lay this one kind of in the center. I'm following the pattern I did on my sample as far as placement. Put that one right there. And then I'm going to do, not my pink one. Oh, I guess I got those out of the order. That's okay. We're going to do a blue one on the pink, and then we will do the pink one on the orange, and all will be well. Again, there's more than one right way. If you're having trouble getting that to adhere to your glue dot, just take your pick tool, and you can push down in the center, and that makes it a little easier to pick up. I'll place that one right there. And then my final one is my pink one, and put that there, pull it up, and put that one back over here. So they are staggered, they're not lined up in anything, they're just kind of scattered onto my card. And I love that look. What a fun card is that for a birthday. And then you should have 4 little gems inside of your kit. So I'm just going to take those tiny little rhinestone gems, and we're going to place one in the center of each of these flowers. Just like that, for a little bit of bling and sparkle. And then I'm going to come back in with my Take Your Pick tool and one more time and push down on that gem, because I want that gem and that glue to be totally adhered onto my paper. You could do this with your finger too, guys, if you really needed to. That would work. You could just pull up the petals if you don't have that foam pad. But I love the way this works in making those little flowers just stand up on the card. And that's card number 1, guys. Let me get this out of the way and this out of the way. I'm going to pull this over, put it here with the instructions. So if you want to take a screenshot now, you can. And like I said, oh, I missed a letter on here, so I had to write that D in. I had please as punch, but it's pleased as punch. Anyway, if you want to take a picture now, you can. I will post this in the comments, but again, those comments go away in 30 days. So if you want a picture of it, now is the time. Okay, we're going to take this out of the way and go to card number 2. So card number 2 is the card that has these pieces in it. So when you open it up, you're going to have your card base, you're going to have a white layer, you're going to have a couple embossed strips, a couple of strips of designer series paper, a sentiment layer, and some little gems. So that's what's going to be in there. And I love this layout. It's a super simple layout. I'm doing it for a class next week for some brand new stampers. I made it into a sympathy card because I always need sympathy cards, and I like this darker layer in the center. I think it's simple and neutral for that. So that's what I made mine into. Although you could make it a birthday card, an anniversary card, anything you like. And this is how I finished my envelope, just so you know. So I'm going to put that, we'll set this to the side. So the first thing I'm going to do is just add that tinier strip of Designer Series paper to the edge of my envelope. And I'll tell you, I do not know the name of this DSP. I tried to find it, couldn't do it, don't know, but it's beautiful. On the back, this is just a black and white pattern, and I'm going to use Tombow for this too. Now, the reason I'm using Tombow for this strip on the envelope is because if I put Tombow on here, like this, just a small bead, because I don't want too much oozing out for sure, and then I take this and I lay it onto my envelope, slightly off the edge, just slightly off, and then pull it onto my envelope until it gets to the edge. Tombow lets you do that. Come on in there, Tombow. I know you can do that. Oh, it might have dried too. Nope, it's fine. Okay. What that does is that glue moves across, so it's right at the edge of your envelope. And when you send it through the mail, it's not going to get caught or lift. So by doing that with the Tombow and sliding it over, and you can see I did that on here too. This one slid over a little bit more, but it is completely sealed down now on the edge. And that's what you want when you're sending something with a layer on the outside through the mail. Same thing you want to do if you're doing your flap in the back, is you want to make sure that Tombow is up to the edges so it doesn't catch in the mail. So just a little tip for that. Set those aside. The next thing I'm going to do is come in here and take my larger piece of basic white. This is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And, oh, I got a little fruit fly in here. I hope I got him. He might be flying around bugging me. We will see. And this is where we're going to put our pieces on. So I'm going to put a strip of this right down the middle. And these don't have a real right or wrong, but depending upon how the pattern is on your individual piece, you might want it to go one way or the other. I turned this one around because I have 2 stems going down, so it makes sense for me to go this way. And then you have 2 pieces of basic white. Now these are each 1 by 5 inches, and they were embossed using the Retired Layered Florals embossing folder, which I didn't pull out, but it's beautiful. It's got a really deep embossing on. We're going to use that. So those are 1 inch by 5, and then this middle Designer Series paper is 1 1/2 inches by 5. So I'm going to add these to my card. And I'm going to use Tombow once more. You could also use seal, but they're pretty thin strips to do seal all around the edge. And when you're using a 3D embossing folder, you want to be sure you're getting as much contact with your adhesive as possible. So I'm going to just put it on the back all the way around. Decide how I want my flowers going on here. And then I'm going to place this so it has a pretty even border, top, bottom, and left side. So I don't know if you can see that on camera, but the bottom, the top, and the left side have a pretty even border on them. Okay, that's going to lay there. We're going to do the same thing with the other one. So when I'm placing 3 things that I want placed onto a layer like this, strips, I usually do my 2 outside pieces first, and then I center my 3rd one in the middle. It just seems to come together the best that way. Let's see, I think I like this one turned this way a little bit better, so I have some contrast in the design. Same thing, on this one we're going to lay it on this side, even border bottom, side, top. As close as you can get it. Don't stress too much, guys. Just don't stress. Stamping should be fun and not real stressful. So then we have our 3rd piece right here. For this one, I am going to just use some seal in the corners. Again, use whatever adhesives you like to use. Make it your own. Even change the design up if you want. I'm going to have my 2 stems going down, so that's how I chose this. And then I am just going to center this evenly between those 2 white pieces. Just like that. Okay, that just seems the easiest way to put a card like this together. Once you do that, you're going to adhere this to the front of your card white on white. Now, I'm not going to pop mine up, but if you wanted to pop it up on dimensionals, you certainly could do that. I don't like my cards getting too thick, and I am going to pop up my sentiment. So because of that, I'm not going to pop this layer up. I'm just going to lay it down flat on the white with a border all the way around like that. Now you could change up this design with any colors and any embossing you want and make it any kind of card you want, which is what I love. I love about these designs. They're clean and simple designs that can be changed up with whatever you might have on hand. I'm going to take my With Sympathy stamp and I'm going to add it to the front of my envelope. And then I'm also going to add it onto the smaller piece of white that is 1 inch by 2.5, right in the center if I can. Just like that. And then my stamping is done. Super simple. Now you guys know I can't stamp your images for you, so you have to find your own sentiments to add. But that way you can make these cards anything that you want. I'm going to come here on the back of my sentiment and I'm going to add some dimensionals because I am going to put this up on my card. So I'm just going to do 3 of them. Excuse me. Just like that, and center this across my design like that. And then for my bling on here, I am using some pecan. We're on the last chance list. I didn't look today to see if they're still there, but I love them because they're very flat. So you know I don't like putting, they're a little hard to get off the plastic, I will tell you that. I don't like putting gems and blings on top of dimensionals, but these are so flat that they take up no room that I don't even mind doing that. So I'm just going to place 1 on each side of my sentiment to give a little bling. There's already a little bling on this simply because of the nature of that designer series paper, because it's shiny and foiled. But you don't want too much on a sympathy card anyway, so I think it's just perfect. That is our second card. I'm going to bring in that sheet if you want to take a picture. And while you're doing that, I am going to take a quick drink of my coffee so I can get rid of this frog in my throat. There. Hope that did it. All right. That is that project. Project number 2. Done. Let's get to project number 3. Oh, and that, let me make sure I'm right on that. Unbounded. That, With Sympathy sentiment on that card is from the Unbounded Love set. This is in the annual catalog, and then it was last year, and it was moved to online exclusives. It's still out there, and I do love the sentiments in here, and that With Sympathy was perfect for this. Okay, now, next card is a masculine card right here, which we always need masculine cards. People always tell me, so I wanted to throw one of those in. It's actually like a birthday card or celebration card. So you're going to have your white envelope, and this card is going to be a horizontal one. It's going to go like this. So inside of your card kit, you are going to have a base of basic gray. Oh, mine's upside down, so make sure it opens the right way. You have a piece of basic white that is 3.5 by 5 inches, and this is going to go on the inside of your card. Before you put that on there, you also have a strip of the designer series paper, and this is going to get put right at the bottom of that. Now this one should be wide enough to use seal on if you want, and you could actually use the gray side if you wanted, or you could use Tombow if that's easier for you, whatever adhesive works for you. And it's just a pattern of the screwdrivers repeated. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to place this at the bottom of this, leaving just a hair of white showing underneath. I always like that. I just think it sets it off a little bit. And then I'm going to add this to the inside of my card right away. Now you could put happy birthday on here. I didn't do that, but I may. Or I might just leave it, say, to someone worth celebrating every single day, and then leave it because I may use it for something else, like a Father's Day card or a congratulations card for a guy. So yeah, you do what you want with your card. I'm going to place that in the middle there, just like that. Now again, remember this is opening up horizontally if you do want to put a sentiment in. Okay, and here you're also going to have a piece of basic black, and this basic black is 2 7/8 by 4 1/4, and another piece of the Designer Series paper. Now this Designer Series paper was that Trusty Tools DSP that we used to have. I think I still have most of a packet of this because I love it, because it has all these great tools that you can fussy cut out, which is what I did for you. And we're just going to take this piece here, and I'm going to use some seal and place this onto that black layer. Okay. And it should center pretty well on there. Just like that. And then I'm going to layer this centered to the middle of my card base, front. And again, your screwdrivers go both directions, so you don't even have to worry about which way you're placing this, which I love on this paper. Put that right in the middle, or as close to it as I can get. And then I'm going to take my tools, and you're going to have different tools depending upon what I cut out for you. So you're going to decide how you want to place them. I just have 2 tools, and then we're going to have a sentiment that goes underneath one of them. So you can kind of decide what you want to do with that. I put my larger one on first, then added my sentiment, then added my smaller one. So I think that's what I'm going to do on this one. And because these tools are kind of odd shaped, you know, they're all different, I am going to, again, use Tombow glue for this. I'm going to lay it here where I think I want it. So I'm having it come over about 1 inch or so at the top, and that at an angle. That means that the very top of this guy is not going to be on top of my paper. So I'm going to place my finger there for about 1/4 inch or so, and only put my Tombow glue on the rest of it, so that part hanging over doesn't have it. And then come back in here and lay this at that angle, just like that. I'm going to stamp my sentiment, and my sentiment for this one comes from The Right Words. This is in the current annual catalog, and the To Someone Worth Celebrating Every Day and the Happy Birthday, I have used those so much out of here. But I will tell you, in that sympathy card that I just made, I think I'm going to put this sentiment in the middle of it. I didn't do that yet, but I think I will. And it says, forever loved, forever remembered. And I think that is just such a beautiful sentiment. So I'm probably going to do that. So let me move that out of the way. I'm going to get back my Memento ink here. And we're going to stamp this. We're almost done, guys. Our 3rd project will go fast. And then our 4th one's actually pretty fast. I try to get done with these classes within an hour so they don't have to take your whole day sitting here with me. And like I say, they're pretty easy cards that we're making, so you can make them what you want. So there is our Someone Worth Celebrating Every Day. Now on the back of here, I am going to add some dimensionals. And I'm just going to put 4 of them kind of in the corner of that main section like that. There we go. And then this is going to go onto my card. I'm going to have it overlap my tool just the tiniest little bit. So it's much more over to the right side than the left. And kind of centering it top to bottom with my other tool, whatever it might happen to be. And I am going to glue this just the section that's going onto my cardstock. So I can see it really is just this little piece here that's going to get some glue. So I'm going to put some glue right in here, like that. And then I'm going to grab a mini dimensional, if I have one here. Here they are. And because that handle is sticking off and is pretty large, I'm going to put a mini dimensional down there. I'm not going to worry about the top part of this. I'm just going to let that hang over and I think it'll be fine. But I wanted some stability onto that handle. So let's take this and place it back on here, right there. And then that dimensional will hold it up here, and this will just adhere it to my sentiment. Now on this one, it was the pencil. And so I actually didn't put anything under either end. By placing that across and gluing it, it gave it enough stability that it's going to be just fine on that card. Okay, let's get these out of the way. And then you should have 3 of these retired rustic metallic adhesive dots that we had. They were great. I love our metallic dots for men's projects, so I keep them around always afterwards. So I have some. We usually have something, but these are retired, but there's usually something in our kit that works for men. But this one works great for on here, the metallic. So we're going to place 1 dot up here, and I'm going to try to get another. And I'm going to place it over here just to the right of my dimensional so that it can go down in the mail, and that gives it some support. And then I'm going to take my 3rd one and put it down here in the middle. Okay, so now none of these are right on top of a dimensional, which is what I like to do when something's a little thicker. The last pearls that or the last embellishments on the last card were so flat that it doesn't matter. But when they stick up a little bit like these, I like them to be where there is no dimensional underneath them. It protects them as they go through the mail. And let's see, what did I do on here? On this one, I just put happy, I guess I must have put happy birthday. I did put happy birthday on the center of this one, although I'm not going to do that on this one. But then I decorated my envelope the same way. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. So this is card number 3 today. Let me grab this and put that there. If you do want to get a screenshot, I'm going to take another sip of my coffee. While you're doing that, and then we're going to set this one to the side. Okay, and then that would be our projects for a $50 order. If you placed a $75 order, you get a bonus project each month. And that bonus project at this time is one of these little totes. Now I made this actually into a tote that you could fill with something and give it. Although you can do just half a tote and put them on the front of the card. And I posted a card like that on my blog yesterday, so you can check that out if you're interested. So the pieces in your little kit will come in your plastic envelope. And those pieces include a piece of tissue paper that you might think I folded weird, but by folding it like this was just a square. By folding it at an angle and then at an angle again, you get those little peaks on top so that when you place it inside your tote, you can put stuff in the middle of it. So I pre-folded it for you so it would be like that. So you have a piece of tissue paper. You're going to have your 2 pieces for your tote. You can use either side on this if you like the smaller or the larger, but you're going to have to fold your folds the opposite direction. And the smaller side is the back side, so your etching around the edge is not quite as defined. But you can choose to do it how you want. I did it this way and then made my little scarf with the smaller side, but you could flip it around and do it this way and have your scarf have the larger checks. Whatever works for you. Okay, so for these, the first thing you want to do is grab a bone folder. I might not have a bone folder, guys. I packed all my stuff up for my event this weekend, which included my desk bone folder, which I should not have done because I need it. So I'm going to show you another trick with a Sharpie. A Sharpie not only pushes down on your stuff, but it also comes in handy in a pinch if you don't have a bone folder. This end of it works really well to crease your creases. You just have to be careful not to get it onto this black ink part, because that will come off on your piece of paper. So we're going to use my Sharpie today. I'm going to come in here and crease all of my creases, so you can be doing this with me. I'm creasing these little flaps up, and then I'm creasing in the sides on each of those. Those don't necessarily need to be bone folded, but you'll see why. This actually helps form a side on your bottom when we put this together. You can trim them off if you don't think you need them, but I like to put stuff in my little totes, and if I do that, I like having that bottom side kind of finished. So there's lots of little creases on here. Make sure that you get them all when you're using your bone folder or your Sharpie, the magic Sharpie tool. It works fantastic, guys, for a lot of things. I keep one handy all the time on my desk. So you're going to do that same exact thing with both sides. Again, you are creasing this so that the pattern that you want your tote to be is on the outside, is on the front, and you're creasing everything away from it. So if you wanted your smaller checks, you would be pushing these in just the opposite side. But I'm going to use the larger ones. I think I liked the way the smaller checks looked on the large rather than the large on the small. It seemed like it blended in a bit too much that way. So that's how I decided what I went with on mine. Now this little tote is from the Notes and Totes bundle, and I love it. There is so much in that bundle that is wonderful, but making little gift card holders has become my favorite. So once you do that, we're going to adhere these two together. And the way I'm going to do that is with the fronts lying up, the outside part of the totes lying up, I am going to take Tombow on that little flap on the right hand side here. You could also use tear and tape if you wanted. Whatever works for you, whatever you like to use. And I am going to line it up directly with this flap on this one and push them together. Okay, and the Tombow gives you the wiggle room to move that around, so you want that right at the crease. Once I do that, I'm going to give it a nice firm pressure with my finger to make sure that that adheres really well. Then we're going to come over and repeat that here on this other little flap with your Tombow one more time. Okay, and then I'm going to fold back this flap and bring it over. And now I can lay this just down flat and it should line up, which it did perfectly, which is wonderful. I'm going to give this also some firm pressure. I'm going to run my makeshift bone folder over it. So I was at a quilting vendor affair this weekend. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. I'm not a quilter, but I made quilt cards and things, and I will show some of them on my live tomorrow, so come back if you're interested. Okay, now we have these two bottom flaps. I'm going to take one of the sides, doesn't matter which one, and just tuck those little edges in there and push it down like that so it's flat. And then I'm going to take my other side, the flap that is still showing here, and add some Tombow glue to that. And I'm going to pinch in these little sides on here, and you're just going to tuck them right into that opening on the bottom of your tote. And it does take a little finagling, but I'll show you in a minute why I like to leave them on and use them. Once you get that in there, then go ahead and just hold that down firmly on the bottom, pressing to make sure that it really goes together good. So now you'll see on the sides of my tote, at the bottom where that little gap would be, because I left those pieces on, it's filled in. If you had cut those little pieces off, you would have a hole there, and I didn't want a hole. I wanted to be able to use this to put something inside of it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is take our two handles. You should have two white handles, And for this, I'm going to use glue dots. I'm just going to come in and on the back side, I'm going to add a glue dot to those bottom portions. Whoops, it's stuck to my finger, guys. There we go. Okay, push that, pull that up. And then this is going to go right onto my purse. And I am lining up the top of this little etched part with the top of my tote. You can line it up however you like. And then I'm just centering it side to side on there as closely as I can. And when I get it where I want it, I'm going to push down on those glue dots, and that's going to hold it. I'm going to repeat that same exact thing on the other side so that we have handles on both sides of this tote. Whoops, come in here with my glue dot, lift it. You don't want to tear these, so be a little careful with them as you're working with it. They are kind of small and delicate pieces, okay? I'm going to push that on there. Same thing. We'll come in here and we're going to lay this on there, top at the top and centered side to side. And once you get it where you want it, give it some firm pressure to hold it. And then we're going to add our little scarf. So on the back side of this scarf, which is going to be my large print, I'm going to add a glue dot right behind the knotted area here at the top. And we're going to let this be on our handle, hanging down like it was tied right around there and hanging on the side of our tote. So that's our little tote. Now what I wanted to show you now is you can take your tissue paper and in between that fold, just come in here and put that into your tote, and that leaves all those little triangles sticking up at the top. And then you could put whatever you wanted in here. I have some Bitto honey candy. That would be perfect if you wanted to make little candy favors for your table for a holiday. Or if you wanted to give this to someone, you could stick in a gift card. So here we have a little Amazon gift card I could tuck in there. You can put whatever you want. Now these will stand up, which makes them really cute for favors on your table. And so I just love it. It's just like a cute little tote. I think they're so adorable and I can't wait to use them to give away. Okay, so that's our little tote. I think I'm going to use the one with all the stuff in so you can get a screenshot here, just so you can see what I did with it. Okay, let's see if I can get that on the screen. So feel free to take a picture of that if you want. Again, I will post pictures and these recipes in the comments, but they will probably go away after 30 days. So be aware of that. And then this was with a $75 order. And then if you placed a $100 order, in addition to the 3 card kits and this bonus project, you would have gotten a half a package of a retired embellishment. And that would have been right inside your little plastic envelope with your 3D kit. So be aware of that. All right, guys, that's it. Let me bring out our 4 projects just so you can see them as I close out here. Thank you for taking some time to be with me today. I really, really appreciate it. I love doing these. Thank you so much for your continued support and your orders and keeping my business going. It is so appreciated in these really difficult times. And there's our 4 projects, guys. I hope they're all on screen and you can see them well. Looks like I might need to bring this one down a little bit. I'm looking on my screen as I'm doing this. So hopefully, there we go. 4 projects for today for our free class. If you enjoyed today's class, just be sure to order a qualifying amount from me in the month of July and you will get the August class kit for free. As always, I would love to be your creative coach and demonstrator. If you have any questions at all, please reach out to me in the comments of this video or by email at crazystampinglady@gmail.com. I'll be on tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. Central Time for my regular live, and I hope to see you all then. Bye-bye.